Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today, we're going to talk about Incredible Hulk issues 401 to 404, where we get a fascinating story arc where we have the Hulk having to deal with the Juggernaut. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Now, issue 401 actually deals with the fallout of what happened in the previous story arc, where we had Hydra go to war against the leader's utopic society that he had up in the frozen tundra of Canada, and Hulk got into the mix there, and things just went off the wall. Marlo, who was the girlfriend of Rick Jones, she was brought back from the dead, but now she's in like this catatonic state. And we also had a zombie, Thunderbolt Ross, in a Redeemer armor, try to kill the Hulk, but he ends up killing the leader by mistake. There's some really crazy comic book shit going down in that particular story arc. The thing is that the Hulk wanting to take vengeance in trying to take down the leader, he realized that he led to a lot of innocent people getting hurt. He had interrupted this whole procedure to bring back Marlo from the dead, even though Rick Jones pled with the Hulk to stop his attack. So the story picks up with Omnibus, who is reprimanding the UFOs for not defending the leader's city. And he's like, you guys totally screwed up and you're going to have to pay for it. And when he does, he teleports them away right next to the Hulk, who obviously is really not happy to see these guys because they were like the enforcers of the leader. Now, I do have to mention, like, as I said earlier, the leader was killed off in the last story arc, but his consciousness jumped into Omnibus's mind. We get that revelation way too quickly. They should have sat on that for a while. But the thing is that the Hulk totally just flips out when he sees the UFOs. He starts clobbering them. But the thing is that he is totally unhinged to the point that he almost kills Ironclad. It's really cool how this part of the story really illustrates that possibly there's an evil streak in Professor Hulk. They are sort of hinting at this evolution that we're going to get with Maestro. So every once in a while during this moment of the series, you see these little glimpses of Hulk not only totally losing it, just crossing the line. But in this case, Rick Jones is able to stop him, and they return to Betty Ross's pad, and she totally freaks out when she sees this catatonic Marlo. And this whole scenario that we have between Marlo and Rick Jones, it's really off the wall, and he doesn't seem to know how to deal with the situation, and I have no idea why no one's taking her to a hospital. So what happens in this issue is Agamemnon, the leader of the Pantheon, has decided to take a leave of absence, and he leaves the Hulk as the leader. And we get the setup to the story arc that I do want to focus on, which is the Hulk going into a undescript South American jungle. There is some supervillain activity down there that has warranted him wanting to investigate. So the thing is that when the Hulk arrives, out of nowhere, this giant random dude starts trying to fight him. He's super powerful. The Hulk has no idea who he's dealing with, but that the guy is not a slouch. Obviously, it's the Juggernaut without his armor. So Juggy totally knows who Hulk is because they have clashed in the past. And it's really interesting because later on in the story, Juggy is actually going to explain why he didn't use his armor when he fought the Hulk to his employer, who fascinatingly is the Red Skull. Like, this pairing is really weird. Like, I do have to mention during this time, like, Marvel was pushing the Red Skull to be like this more overarching type of villain. So you would see him pop up in different series, not only as a Captain America villain. But the idea behind Juggy's attack is that the Hulk doesn't know he's dealing with a supervillain, so he sort of lets his guard down, and he gets totally clobbered in this fight. So the thing is that the Hulk is taken to this research center that the Red Skull has set up. And the Red Skull actually uses Mentallo to brainwash the Hulk, make him into one of his minions. And while all this is going down, the Skull tells Juggernaut, look, the Avengers are on to us too. I know there's a Quinjet on the way, so he sends out the Juggernaut to engage with them. Now, the whole scenario with the Avengers when they're going there, some of the dialogues are priceless. Like, Peter David does a really good job. We have the whole situation between Cersei and Black Knight, and since Black Knight had a thing for Crystal, Cersei is a total bitch to her. And this leads to a lot of tension within the Avengers themselves. Like, they seem to be very dysfunctional during this time. They encounter the Juggernaut, who tells them, look, you're trespassing here. Basically, I'm the security of this place. My employer bought this land legally. You guys have no reason to be here. Like, everything is on the up and up, except for you guys. Obviously, we have a battle. Now, Juggernaut on his own, he's going to be real bad news for the Avengers. But to add on top, we have a brainwashed Hulk who drops in. Now, I do have to backtrack a little bit during the brainwashing process that Mentallo did on the Hulk. It's heavily hinted it's a real bad idea to go into Hulk's mind. Like, even though Mentallo got a power upgrade thanks to comic book technology, like, he knows he's biting off more than he can chew. That the Hulk is a real piece of work. Also, at the space, the Red Skull has like this experiment that we're going to see in a couple story arcs further down the line, which is Piecemeal or Piecemeal. That weird monster minion that we discover was commissioned by Madman, who's going to become like a big Hulk villain, and I think he's the brother to the leader. So we get a pretty good battle between the Avengers and Juggernaut and the Hulk, and like this Avengers lineup, and it has heavy hitters. Like you have Cersei, Crystal, Vision, Hercules. I feel like the only guy there that's way out of his depth is the Black Knight. But the thing is that Juggy like sort of takes advantage of the mental conditioning that the Hulk had received, but he pushes him too far, which is actually going to break the Hulk in such a way that he's going to be able to liberate himself from Mentallo's telepathic control, but this is going to lead to like an insane amount of telepathic feedback that's going to knock out everyone. The Avengers, Juggernaut, who had lost his helmet. Everyone gets knocked out. I'm going to look past the part where Hulk at one moment one-punched Juggernaut prior to this. Where I was like, really? No way. That's not going to happen. But now we have Juggernaut KO'd thanks to this telepathic attack. And the story actually ends with the Red Skull evacuating the installations of his base, but we never get a battle between Red Skull and the Hulk or the Avengers. And on the last panel, we see the Red Skull like being this leader to this new organization of supervillains. He's even talking to Silvermane at this moment, discussing this whole situation with his secret weapon, Piecemeal or Piecemeal. And Red Skull actually even kills off the scientist that creates this monster. But we're going to leave this video here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.